Gypsies are a part of the ethnic landscape of Romania. Their presence and status in Romania is attested by written information from the 14th century. This video is a short presentation of those documents. It is generally accepted that Gypsies migrated from India in the early Middle Ages. In the 11th century, we find the earliest reference of their presence in Constantinople and the Byzantine Empire in general in a Georgian hagiographical text, The Life of Saint George the Athonite, composed around 1068. According to this medieval text, Emperor Constantine Monomachus asked the Adzincani to get rid of the wild animals that were preying on the animals in his royal hunting preserve. The name Adzincani, used by the Byzantine chronicler to refer to gypsies, is the Georgian form of the Greek Atzinganoi and is a root word from which the various names for gypsies are derived. The Atzinganoi are mentioned again in Byzantine records in the 13th century in a letter of the Patriarch of Constantinople, Gregorios II Kyprios, where there is mention of taxes to be collected from the so-called Egyptians and Athinganos. In these documents, we find the two names given in Europe to these tribes coming from India, Egyptians and Atziganis. The name Athinganos or Atziganos meant untouchable, and it is to be found in many Byzantine sources from the 13th and 14th centuries. Gypsy migration to the Balkans in this period is poorly documented. In the 14th century, the region was massively invaded by the Turks, who occupied the Serbian and Bulgarian kingdoms. The earliest mention of them comes from the year 1348 in the Serbia of Tsar Stefan Dusan. A number of Cingarije are named among artisans working under the authority of the Prizren monastery. In 1378, they are mentioned in Bulgaria. A document issued in that year by Ivan Shishman, the last Tsar of Bulgaria, transfers ownership of several villages near Rila to the monastery. There were a number of huts in these villages referred to as Ajuptukleti, the huts of the Egyptians, very likely a reference to the Gypsies. The earliest written information about the presence of the Gypsies on the territory of Romania dates from 1385. In a deed issued in that year, Dan I, the Prince of Wallachia, assigns to the Tismana monastery the possessions previously belonging to the Vodica monastery. Among the possessions in question are 40 families of Atzigani. The Vodica monastery had been founded by Vladislav I in the years 1370, 1371 and had ceased to function a short time after, probably in 1376, during the political and military events taking place in the area and the conflict between Wallachia and the Hungarian kingdom for the land of Severin. Vladislav I died in 1377. Therefore, the passing of the Gypsy families into the possession of the Vodica monastery donation must have taken place between 1371 and 1377. The second written information about the Gypsies in Wallachia is from 1388. The Wallachian prince Mircea the Old donated to the Kozia monastery, which he founded, 300 dwellings of Gypsies. Later on, information about the Gypsies in Wallachia becomes increasingly numerous. It should be noted that Gypsies were designated in the Romanian documents with the name used by the Byzantines, Țigan, for almost 100 years. After 1478, they were called Țigani, which is the Romanian for Gypsies. In the Byzantine Empire, Gypsies were slaves of the state. They came to the Balkans as slaves who had a change of ownership. They were owned by rulers who donated them, as we have seen. They had the same status in the Ottoman Empire. Therefore, we can say that gypsy slavery in the Romanian countries is a practice borrowed from the Byzantine Empire. Although the documents in which gypsies are mentioned are scarce, their status is evident. So, there should be no doubt that gypsies arrived in the Romanian countries in the 14th century as slaves from the Byzantine Empire, which was collapsing. The situation in Moldavia is a bit different because of the confusion made between the gypsy slaves and the Tatar slaves, which made Romanian historians say that gypsies were brought to Moldavia during the Tatar invasion in 1241. The first document which mentions gypsies in Moldavia dates from 1428. If you want to know more on this topic, here are some resources which I have used to make this video.